Luffy has had a lot of teachers throughout the story, yet there are none who even come close to the impact one of them in particular has had on him. From shaping his dream to giving him the right idea of what being a man is, Buggy the Clown has been the most influential character to ever grace Luffy's life. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Nah, but for real, Shanks has single-handedly been the most important character to Luffy's journey, so today let's talk about the impact Shanks has had. But real quick, before we can talk about Shanks, let's explain why subscribing to this channel will make Shanks like you more. Shanks' hair is red, and he's known as red-haired Shanks, so then you multiply the two and you get red squared. Side note, but the haired and hair cancel out each other due to the hair property of multiplication. So red squared, and what letter does squared start with? The letter S, which is the same letter as the word subscribe starts with. Coincidence? I think not. The red subscribe button and Shanks are equal to each other by transitive property, and you know you want to smash Shanks, so just smash the button to smash Shanks. My math teacher would be very disappointed in me right now. The very first chapter of One Piece is extremely important for many reasons, but what I consider to be one of the most important reasons is because this chapter shows us how Luffy has been shaped as a person. Shanks' influence on Luffy is extremely apparent in the way that Luffy carries himself, his morals, and his entire personality has evidently been influenced by Shanks. But first, let's just get the most obvious one out of the way. Shanks gave Luffy his dream. Shanks is the sole reason Luffy decided to set out to sea, and while there have been other people like Ace who have further enhanced his dream, without Shanks, there would be no dream of becoming a pirate. Shanks is the only reason Luffy even got his love for pirating, and without Shanks to be there as a positive pirate role model in his life, Luffy probably would have ended up as a marine. Side note, I can say this so confidently because a young Garp and a young Luffy are pretty much mirror images of each other, and the only difference between both of them is that Luffy had a positive pirate role model in his life, whereas Garp subscribed to the notion that all pirates were bad and that the Marines were the good guys. Side tangent aside, Shanks' impact on the story was cemented ever since he met Luffy. Even before he did the entire sell me this hat thing, Shanks already inspired Luffy to want to become a pirate. The hat thing was just him ensuring that there would be a lifelong impact on this young man. Also, it was just Oda writing a beautiful scene. Like, damn, this is gorgeous. 10 out of 10. Just like Shanks. Moving on from the dream of being a pirate, I recently covered this in another video, but one of the most important things Shanks has taught Luffy is that you shouldn't always fight back. I won't delve into that too much because, you know, I have an entire another video all about that, but in the meantime, let's talk about something I brushed over in that video, the concept of being a man. Masculinity is a super important theme in One Piece, and one of the greatest lessons Shanks imparted on a young Luffy is that senseless violence doesn't make you a better man. Luffy's admittedly a hot-headed kid who fights a lot, but he makes sure he only uses violence when necessary. Otherwise, he realizes that being a man is more about protecting those weaker than you, something that Shanks taught him. The concept of masculinity is a central theme to the story, and to see how Luffy has a positive idea of the idea of being a man is something that is super cool. Luffy doesn't go around fighting people in order to assert dominance over them, because at the end of the day, he knows that fighting people weaker than you just makes you a worse man. Shanks teaching him that is what arguably makes Luffy so lovable. He protects the people around him, especially his friends. Oh yeah, let's talk about friendship, because everyone knows that the power of friendship is the most important power. My little pony, my little pony. Oh, I hate myself for keeping this in. One of the longest lasting impacts Shanks has had on Luffy comes from this scene when he goes to fight Higma the bear after Higma hurt Luffy. You can see just from this panel that these words struck a chord with Luffy as his eyes lit up, and at this moment, he had an entire ass revelation. We all know the lengths Luffy goes to for his friends is one of the most inspiring things to come out of One Piece. From waging war on the entire world for Robin to almost starving himself to death for Sanji, Luffy loves his friends, and he got it all from this moment. The words, "good reason or not, no one hurts my friends," is one of the most powerful lines in all of One Piece, as it quite literally shaped Luffy. A lot of arcs in One Piece have been focused on Luffy doing insane things for the people he considers a friend, which gives us some of the best moments in all of anime. From heart-wrenching moments when Oda uses the bond Luffy has with his friends to break us, to heartwarming moments when Pedro warmed his heart for Luffy. The theme of friendship is what makes One Piece One Piece. The end goal Luffy has is probably related to something with all of his friends, and this can all be tracked back to this singular panel where Shanks instills the idea of the importance of friendship into a young Luffy. Continuing on though, another thing Shanks made sure to get inside Luffy's very thick skull is that being a pirate is rough. While his crew hyped up being a pirate, and to some extent, well, yeah, they're right, Shanks made sure to tell Luffy that it isn't all partying and drinking. While it may seem like that's all Shanks and his crew do, there's a lot of dark stuff happening in the background, and being a pirate is a rough life. Shanks made sure that a small Luffy would understand this before doing anything drastic, which quite probably saved Luffy's life. Shanks continuously told Luffy that he would have to wait 10 more years before setting out to sea, and that is probably the only reason Luffy's still with us today. I have no doubt in my mind that a 7-year-old Luffy, or however old he was at the time of the first chapter, would have ran out to sea and been like, I can do this no problem, and then drown immediately. Shanks showed Luffy how dangerous the sea could be, and that he should be older and more powerful before setting out to the ocean. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Shanks gave his arm away literally just so that Luffy would realize it's dangerous being out in the ocean and not just die immediately. Another aspect of Shanks that was passed down to Luffy is also his carefreeness. From watching Shanks and his crew have so much fun, Luffy eventually realized the power that partying had and just how much fun they could be. This realization caused him to be as careless and goofy as Shanks was at the beginning of the show. It's no secret that both the Straw Hats and the Red-Haired Parrots love to party, and a part of that can be credited to Shanks passing down his love for partying to Luffy. Overall though, a lot of Shanks' personality can be seen through Luffy. Both of them have the same carefree lifestyle, and they both only get serious if you hurt one of their friends or stand in the way of their dream. Both of them also realize that needless violence is stupid and that there are better ways to use your time than fighting back against everyone who mocks you. Shanks' impact on Luffy is undeniably massive. I mean, he's the only reason Luffy even set out to sea, so at the end of the day, Shanks is pretty much the most important character to Luffy. I mean, he even gave him his devil fruit, which turned out to be this. So I mean, Shanks is kind of Luffy's dad. Overall though, that's it for me. Thank you.